At one point during the Cold War, we had satellites in space taking pictures of the Soviet Union on actual film. And instead of sending those images back digitally, because we couldn't, we had to physically get the film back from space, which meant launching it into orbit, taking photos, dropping it back to Earth, and then trying to catch it mid-air. And somehow this worked. So here's the situation. It's early in the Cold War. Both the US and the Soviet Union are convinced that either side is about 5 minutes away from blowing up the world, which means we need intelligence. Specifically, we need to know what the Soviets are doing, how many missiles they have, where they are, and whether or not we should be concerned. Normally you would just fly a spy plane over, take some photos. That was until one of those planes got shot down. That became a whole incident. So now the US has a problem. We need eyes on the Soviet Union, but we have to do it in a way that doesn't immediately cause an international conflict. So somebody just walks in a room and says, what if we just take pictures from the sky? Now you might be thinking, that sounds totally normal. We do it all the time. Satellites take pictures every day. Back then, this was insane. Because here's the problem. Digital cameras didn't exist yet. So you can't just send an image back. You have to take it on film, which means you have to retrieve the film, actual physical film, which creates a new problem because you've successfully taken photos on film in space, and it's currently still in space. So now the question is, how do you get it back? And the US came up with a pretty insane idea, and it actually worked. So here's what they do. They build a capsule, they put film inside, and when it's done taking pictures, they eject it from the satellite. Now the capsule has to survive re-entry into the atmosphere, which isn't ideal for a roll of film. It has to deploy a parachute as it starts falling back to Earth. At this point, you might be thinking, oh, okay, then you just go and pick it up. No, that would make too much sense. Instead, we had to catch it out of the air with a plane.
What the fuck?
I'm not kidding. They literally had planes flying around with giant hooks on the front of them to snag falling capsules out of the sky. So yes, we had to get a guy up in a plane with what is basically a flying fishnet to try and catch a roll of film from outer space. And somehow it worked. And once they got the film back, pictures were actually clear enough to see Soviet installations, missile sites, airfields, infrastructure. For the first time, the US could actually look at the Soviet Union and tell what was real and what wasn't, which during the Cold War is a pretty big deal, because now you're not guessing anymore. You actually know what you're dealing with. And that's the part that's easy to forget, the whole system. Satellites, film, capsules, catching things out of the sky that are currently falling. Sounds ridiculous, but it actually worked. And for a while, this is the best way we had to understand what the Soviets were doing, which is kind of insane if you think about it. Guys, if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I look forward to bringing you more content in the future.